Hello, Man in Gray here with another Man in Gray book review. Today's book is a rather unusual one. It's Focus on OJ Simpson Murder Case, published in 2018 by Focus On, a division of OK Publishing. It's 319 pages and it's written by Wikipedia contributors. Now, before we talk about the book itself, I want to take a minute and talk about this unusual publishing imprint. Focus On, what they do is they put together Wikipedia articles in ebook format and publishing them in an ebook format. They don't do paper, traditional paper books. They're in ebook format. And they gather together Wikipedia articles on a particular subject. And they have a whole bunch of these in the series. There's over 100 books. And some of them are on really, really specific topics. For example, there's a book on British children's authors, Indian female film directors, propaganda techniques, and the 100 most popular point guards in basketball. So, of course, the obvious question you got to be asking is, why on earth would you buy this? At the time of this video, these books all cost $1 in U.S. money, one U.S. dollar. And of course, your question is, why would you pay even $1 for something that you could read for free on your phone? These are all Wikipedia articles, and you could read them all on your phone. Well, there's a few reasons. One is, according to the preface of this book, a portion of the dollar that you pay for it goes to is donated to the Wikipedia Foundation, which is an organization that runs Wikipedia, so that's a good cause. Secondly, these articles are all in ebook formats, which means you can read them on a Kindle like this or a Nook or some other e-reader. And having all the articles together in one place means you don't have to flip back and forth through this gigantic Wikipedia website looking for articles on the same topic. So there's some advantages to that. So we talk about this case in particular. Of course, the recent death of Orenthal James Simpson, the football player and minor actor, brought attention again to his 1995 murder trial, which was one of the most, probably the most publicized trial in American history. Although, as one of the people in this book says, it certainly wasn't nearly as important as some other trials. Although some people said it was the trial of the century, it certainly wasn't as important as the Sacco and Vanzetti case in the 1920s or the Nuremberg war crimes trials after World War II, things like that. There were other cases that were more significant. The Scottsboro Boys case in the 1930s and 40s. These all had much more greater implications than the OJ Simpson case. Any case, it was heavily covered by the media, and most of the people involved, the lawyers and prosecutors, all became household names, so did the judge, and so became well known. So what this book does is it collects some of the most popular articles involving the O.J. Simpson murder case. Now, there's some weird things about this book, and one of the weirdest is they don't include the main article on the O.J. Simpson murder case. You can access it through the hyperlinks. If you read this book on your phone, there's a hyperlink to the O.J. Simpson article, but it's not in this book. Also, the main article on O.J. Simpson is not in here, which is kind of baffling. Why would you have a book on the O.J. Simpson murder case and not have the main article about O.J. Simpson? But it's not in there either. And we do get some articles that clearly don't belong. There's a long article on Ford Broncos, and there's only a couple of paragraphs. It's a long article about the whole history of the Ford Bronco, its various models, and so forth. And there's only a couple of paragraphs in that long article about the O.J. Simpson case. Of course, the Ford Bronco was the vehicle that Simpson ran from the police in his low-speed car chase that was covered, on TV live. So that clearly doesn't belong in there. And there's a couple of articles about some South Park cartoon episodes that tangentially involve O.J. Simpson. They really don't have anything to do with the case. So those articles clearly don't belong in here. So it is kind of strange, some of the choices that were made here. Also, there are some limitations in here. They don't include any photographs that would be found in the articles if you looked at them online, and any quotations from copyrighted material have been redacted. So there's a few passages that have been cut out. Most of the articles are there. What we do get are articles on almost all of the lawyers involved. I made a list here: Robert Cardassian, Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey, Alan Dershowitz, Barry Scheck. Those are all they all talk about those. Also, the prosecutors, D.A. Gil Gancetti, Marcia Clark, and Christopher Darden are all mentioned, as well as some peripheral characters like Al Cowling, the guy who drove the Bronco, Cato Kalin, the notorious guest of OJ Simpson, Faye Resnick, and Paula Barbieri, the Simpsons' girlfriend at the time of the murder. And there are a couple of articles about TV shows based on the Simpson case, a documentary and a miniseries, things like that. So basically, I would say that this book is worth reading. It's over 300 pages, but it's a real quick read. It's not the ideal book to read about the O.J. Simpson murder case. You obviously want to get a book that is linear, that starts that gives the background of the trial, goes through all of this. But as a secondary source, it is worth reading. There are some interesting things that I learned from reading this book that I didn't know about some of the lawyers. One of the really interesting things, I think, is that almost everybody involved in the case has either written one or more books. Not all of them are about the Simpson murder case. Detective Mark Furman, the lead investigator during the trial, has written a book on the Kennedy assassination. Gil Garcetti, the district attorney, after he left office, he became a professional or semi-professional art photographer, and he's published a couple of books on the construction of the Disney Concert Hall in L.A., and he did an award-winning book on the water crisis in Africa. He went around to African villages and photographed, their lack of water wells and so forth, and he's gotten a lot of attention for that book. And he's had a number of art exhibitions and art galleries. So Garcetti has kind of developed a second career as an art photographer. So that's kind of interesting. Marcia Clark, one of the lead prosecutors of the case, has written a series of crime novels, so fictional novels. So almost everybody involved has written some kind of book, except I think for the judge, Lance Ito, I don't think has written a book, but almost everybody else has kind of cashed in one way or another on this case. So there are some interesting things that you can pick up kind of tangential to the main trial by reading this book, but it's not the ideal place to start from. I would read a conventional history of the case, a true crime book of the case, but this is still worth reading. And of course, it's only $1, so you're not out a lot of money if you don't like it. And like I said, it's an interesting idea to combine Wikipedia articles in one place. The book came out in 2018, so it doesn't update. It doesn't mention O.J. Simpson's death or the death of F. Lee Bailey, one of Simpson's judges, not judges, but defense attorneys. So it doesn't have the most recent information, but it covers a lot of the other material as well. And there are hyperlinks that you can connect to if you want, if you have a thing. So there it is. You can look at that, and if you're interested in the concept, you might look at some of the other focus on books. There's a whole range of interesting topics that they cover here. The book is Focus on O.J. Simpson Murder Case. This has been another Man in Gray book review. Thanks for watching.